Namaskar,
Namaskar,
Vanakkam.
Vanakkam. Welcome back to the Vegan Veranda. We have got Hunter Toby with us. Hunter Toby is an activist from Michigan, United States, and we got him on to discuss some really fun stuff. So, Gaurav, what do you want to ask Hunter?
Why do you jump right into the meat of it? I wanted to ask a few other things first. So I already gave a little bit of introduction to Hunter about us. So in case like you guys are new or you guys are Hunter's fans and you're come here, so we'll just tell you in short. We're vegan activists. We've been vegan for about 6 or 7 years, and like initially doing activism, we found out that there's a lack of lifestyle-related content in veganism. So like doing fun stuff like going to cafes and having picnics or having general discussions like some stupid stuff that we talk about, like it's like which coffee, which milk do we prefer in our vegan coffee, or, how do we flavor our tofu and stuff like that. So that is what we start. That is what started this channel, the Vegan Veranda. And initially we started doing a little bit of podcast, just to get an idea of what veganism is like around the world. So we've been lucky to have a few good Indian activists on the podcast. We did have one Japanese activist and one George was from UK, right?
UK.
Yeah. So we are always looking to make good friends, and like I joked to Aputa, it's like whenever we visit these countries, we'll have someone to you call up and then ask,
Yes.
what can I
That's
eat,
right.
where can
That's
I eat.
You already know, guys. You already know. If you're ever in Michigan, hit me up.
Sure. So like I was talking to Aputa the other day, and it's like he told me that there's this guy, he used to be a hunter and now he's vegan. So I'm like, this is an extremely interesting story. We have to jump on it. Please get his time. We have to, talk to him. So welcome, Hunter Toby, to our channel. And
We can start with a little introduction by Hunter himself.
yeah, please.
So that people,
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to say. Just I've been vegan the past 6 years. I'm 27 now. I went vegan around 20, 21 years old, somewhere around there. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, like you guys said, unfortunately, I grew up a hunter. All my family, they're big time hunters. I mean, my dad literally named me Hunter. I showed you guys earlier, but I'll show again just for like the video or whatever. Like I have deer antlers tattooed on me. It was a big part of my life at one point. And then I found out what veganism was when I was like 20 or 21. I'd never even heard of it until then, and pretty much immediately. Well, first I went vegetarian because I didn't know the cruelties of the dairy industry or whatever. But then I shortly after went vegan. So yeah, and now I do as much activism as I can because it's something I really care about. I think it's a huge evil, and it's really sad so many people just accept it as it is.
How did that introduction to veganism came about? Like, was it some video? Like, was it some friend who talked to you about it?
It's not a real good story. It's pretty boring actually. I was just scrolling through Facebook and I saw some vegan posts. I'm like, what the heck is this? And I clicked on it, like kind of wanting to see like these stupid vegans get owned or whatever. And then I was yeah, so I was like scrolling through the comments, and this guy, like everything, he was a vegan arguing with all these meat eaters. And I kind of realized after so many responses that all the meat eaters had to say at the end of the day was, bacon tastes good. Bacon tastes good. I'm like, well, that's not a very good reason. So I kind of looked into it myself. I'm like, wow, like we don't need to eat animals to live and be healthy. Like, why am I doing this? And from then on, I just stopped.
So you mentioned, like, even on your channel bio, you've mentioned that you come from like a rural background. So maybe all your family is like involved in animal agriculture or something like that.
Not animal agriculture. I do have friends who are like dairy farmers. One friend's a beef farmer, stuff like that. But all my family basically are big time hunters. They go up north every year it's called deer camp. It's opening day of deer season. They go up there for a week and hunt and stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't say animal agriculture, but like yeah, all my family and friends like for sure hunt.
So was that, a big, transition difference, or was it like night and day, and then you suddenly, you made this big change, and then what were your family's reactions, or what did your friends have to say about it?
Yeah, well, at first at first, you know, when you first go vegan, like it's like your eyes are open to a whole new like cruelty you never like realize exists, and you kind of get really mad about it. So I was pretty vocal about it to my friends and family, which did not make for any good interactions between us. I lost some friends over it. My family, you know, at first, like my mom was like, "Oh, where are you gonna get your protein from?" Like, "Oh, Hunter, you're just going on another like fad diet. This isn't good for you." All this stuff. My dad, you know, "Oh, it's a circle of life. What are you doing?" All, you know, all the normal stuff vegans here. But after, I don't know, probably, I don't know, after a year, once I started getting used to it, they kind of understand where I'm coming from now. Actually, my mom went vegan, my sister went vegan. So
Wow,
yeah,
Wow.
yep.
that's a big deal.
None of my friends went vegan. They all understand where I'm coming from now, though, and they actually all, even for the most part, agree with me. They just, you know, too lazy to change, I guess.
Right. So let's take a step back. Now we are talking about you after you went vegan. So let's go back. Maybe like, so can you describe to us like when you were younger, when you were a child, how did you connect to animals, and what was your relation with animals in general, and maybe that had some like impact on you later on when you decided to go vegan, things like that.
Yeah, I always loved animals. I always felt a close connection with them. Actually, I can remember when my dad first wanted me to go hunting with him. I was very young. I can't remember exactly, but around 11 or 12 years old, somewhere around there. And well, I'd been hunting before that, but he wanted me to go deer hunting or whatever. And I was like, okay, I'll do it, you know, whatever. And we're sitting there, you know, waiting for a deer to come by, and a deer came by and like was in front of me. And once it was in front of me, he's like, "All right, buddy, you know, shoot," or whatever. Like, I didn't want to. Like, I did not want to shoot this deer. I was like, you know, like, man, that's like an innocent animal sitting in front of me. But like, my dad's like, shoot it, you know, and like, I didn't want to like let my dad down or whatever, so I did. And I remember walking up to it, dude, and like it was twitching, like still alive, struggling for its life. And like I remember like it was such a horrible feeling for me. Like I hated it, but I didn't want to like let it show on my face because I didn't want to disappoint my dad. And he's like, "All right, well now you gotta finish it off or whatever." And I remember I literally couldn't do it. Like I was like I just can't. So my dad had to finish it off for me. But yeah, I just remember like feeling a horrible feeling, and I did not enjoy it. After that, I kind of got cold to it, unfortunately. But yeah, I remember at first, before I was conditioned into it, like I really cared about animals, and it really hurt me to do that. I did not enjoy it.
That's really sad, man. How early do these parents that are into hunting? How young do they generally take their boys or girls with them?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact age in Michigan where you can. It's called youth hunt, where you go out with like your parents or whatever. I think it's 11 or 12. So 11 or 12 for deer hunting. For rabbit hunting, it's earlier than that. So yeah, yep.
So is it lower for fishing maybe?
Oh yeah. I fished my entire life. As a matter of fact, before I was vegan, I preferred fishing. I never, and fishing never made me feel bad. I mean, obviously it does now, but at the time, I just started from such a young age, it never affected me. So yeah, I fished literally since I can remember.
I just Aput, I just want to interject here for a moment. It's like when non-vegans tell us like, oh, before you used to have this, whatever dairy or meat, or you used to use leather, and then now you are lecturing me like how can you do that? And then maybe Hunter must have heard about this thing also. Like, yeah, earlier you have hunted all these animals for your life, and now you're preaching to us. But it's not like that. It's you can't judge a person for his past, and then you have to judge him for the actions that he's taking today. Like today, if I'm choosing to be a bad person, that is a valid cause for judgment. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I mean, right. Like I think this is always like sort of a distraction. Like sure, I did these XYZ things in the past, but that doesn't mean I still like it's only problematic if I hold that same view right now and I'm preaching to other people. Like if I'm an actual hypocrite. But since my views have changed now, yeah, I don't see a problem with preaching, quote unquote, preaching to other people about whatever, the Holocaust that they are contributing to.
And
Yep, I completely agree.
that's like a very common non-vegan thing to say. Like when you don't have valid excuses, you point out all these absurdities, and then you're like, "Oh, now I got you. I got this. I got that vegan. You got owned," or stuff like that.
Yeah. Yep. I just had one guy recently message me because I was telling Apuda, I was like, yeah, dude, I do a lot of activism on TikTok. I get quite a bit of views on there and stuff. So I get a lot of hate. And I just had one guy message me like, oh, you think you're on your high horse, blah, blah. He's like, how do you justify the fact that you used to hunt or whatever? And I'm like, I can't justify it. Like, that's why I'm vegan. You know what I mean? Like, how do you justify that? I can't. That's why I went vegan. I just think it's silly to say. Like, I don't know. Unfortunately, we live in a non-vegan world, and most people grow up as non-vegans. So I don't know.
Speaking of TikTok, I didn't even know. Like when Aputa sent me your YouTube channel, I just checked out your recent videos and then your earliest video in which you talk about you and your wife talk about like why you went vegan and then the general questions that people ask you. So in your latest video, I saw that you're doing TikTok lives and all. I didn't even know that TikTok had a live feature because TikTok has been banned in India for so long that it's been quite a few years.
I didn't realize that. That's crazy.
Yeah. It was banned for some, like some malicious code in the, app or something like that. So that's very new for me. And like, how do those sessions go for you? It's like, from the ones that I saw, it's like a very few of them are respectful. Otherwise, they are just, meandering here and there and trying to come up with all sorts of excuses and trying to justify anything. So what has that experience been like?
Yeah, it's a super, super toxic anti-vegan app. I think that's kind of why I do so well on there, is because like I get a lot of hate. So I did it for a while. It'd get super toxic. I'd just have a bunch of people coming in, giving me the same old, 10 arguments that you hear every day of your life. Crop deaths though, animals eat animals though, circle of life though, like all the common stuff that you hear, just be that over and over and over, and it'd be super toxic. I took a little break and I recently started again, and I tried being calmer because I used to get pretty heated and pretty annoyed. But now I'm taking a calmer approach, and I'm running Name the Trait more, and I think that's going better. So
Yeah, like I used to do this on Clubhouse. Have you heard of Clubhouse?
I know of it. I know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like these Twitter Spaces, and we even had that on Discord. Like it was called Discord Stages or whatever. It's similar to that, and I used to do that on Clubhouse. And what happened was during the pandemic, we came to like everyone was bored, everyone was sitting at home. So these apps, they kind of like help them channel out their inner idiot out on social media, and especially like it gives you this this invisible wall of privacy. Like you could choose to reveal your identity. If not, no problem, you could just have like a fake account or something like that with some alias that nobody knows of, and you could just be the stupidest idiot that you can be on internet. So you would see that so I have experience in both like real time like live activism and online activism, and I've seen that when you actually do, I'm not sure, you can tell me about your experience, but according to my experience, that when we do like in person real time like activism in person, maybe on the street or something like that, people aren't like, they're kind of hesitant to be that stupid onto your face. But when it comes to online like Clubhouse, they were just like being complete idiots about it. Like they don't care about biting bullets. Like if it was in person, they might like they might have some kind of inhibition. Yeah, they will have like this kind of inner shame that prevents them from biting bullets. But online they're like, Holocaust, all those mentally disabled humans, we don't care. I don't know. What do you think?
I 100% completely agree. I think, yeah, when people say stuff like that, I think 99% of the time they're lying. They're full of shit. If you gave them a knife, if there was a thing of vegetables in front of them and like a cute little, I don't know, pig or something, and you gave them a knife, they're not stabbing the pig. They're full of crap. And yeah, people just are a lot stupider online. Absolutely, I do in-person activism as well. And online I'll be called all these names, all this crap, like blah blah blah. In person, I have never once, not one time, ever had anybody call me a name or be disrespectful to me. Not once ever. It's completely different. Now, part of that might be because like I'm a pretty big guy, but I don't think that's all what it is either, because my other friends that I do activism with, like they're generally treated with respect as well in person. So it is kind of funny how people I don't know, just act different when they're behind a screen and don't have to face the consequences like person to person. Like they can just hide behind this alias where nobody knows where they are and just say some wild shit. Like they can genuinely pretend like they think plants have feelings, and cutting a carrot's the same thing as cutting a cow's throat. You know what I mean?
Oh, I also noticed that that activism video that you did, at that Saint Lawrence store. It's some luxury store, right? Yeah, in that you're wearing this anti-carnage tee. And I had found out about that brand on Facebook. They make really cool designs, like very metal.
Yeah. They have a big piece. It's like this thing, the artwork piece they did, and it's at the top. It has a banner. It says respect existence, and then the banner on the bottom says or expect resistance. And then it's like this like kind of like metal looking like zombie version of like a cow, a goat, and a pig. So it's like a huge vegan piece, and I got it tattooed as like a full back piece on my back. So
their artwork is really amazing. I was intending to order it. I went to their website, and then you know how the shipping is like to India. It's like 3x the price of the tea you have to pay for shipping. So it's like no thank you.
Yep. Yeah, no, I got one of their shirts. I think it's pretty cool. I ride motorcycles. Well, I got a sticker from them. It's an anti-carnist sticker that I put on the back of my motorcycle. So, yeah.
It's really nice to see such cool, vegan artwork. Surely we'll be having more vegan artists in the, coming few years, because at least in India, I'm seeing the, growth of veganism being very explosive.
Is it? That's good.
Yeah, good. Because primarily the issue, yeah.
It's hard for me to say. I'm not sure because, like I said, like I live in like a very rural place in Michigan, and like I literally do not know a single other vegan like in real life. Besides my mom, my sister, and my wife. So it's hard for me to say. Like I don't know how it's going in America as a whole, but I hope it's taken off and doing better. Obviously, that's good to hear it is in India.
Yeah, that is one of the things we wanted to talk about. It's like how it's, how it is to be a vegan in, let's say rural US or, urban US. Because here, at least in the urban areas, we are seeing that a lot of people know about veganism, which is surprising to me still. That, like when I asked a store, that sells food, and then I'm like, no, I don't have dairy, I only have vegetarian. And then he's like, are you vegan? So it's like, that's a, very big moment for me. Then people are aware at least. So how is it like, for you?
Like where I'm from, like, yes, a lot of people don't know exactly what like veganism is. They think like, you get the common stuff like, oh, can you eat fish? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't understand that we don't like eat anything that comes from an animal, dairy, eggs, I have one kind of interesting story of this is probably the only like bad experience I've had in person. I was at a restaurant in my town, and like they don't have any like vegan options, so you have to order the stuff like minus like the animal products. So I ordered this burrito they had. I said, can I get this without the chicken and without the cheese? And this guy next to me, who's an all camo, like, just kind of typical redneck guy, he looks at me, he's like, did you just order no chicken and no cheese? I'm like, yeah, I don't eat that stuff or whatever, I'm vegan. And he's like, "You're vegan?" And I was like, "Yeah." He like laughed. He's like, "That's what them liberals out or them hippies out in Hollywood do," or something like that. And I just laughed, kind of trying to make a joke of it. I'm like, "Yeah, just call me Hollywood, I guess." And he's like, "No, seriously, we don't put up with that bullshit around here." And he called me like an F slur or something like that. And I looked at him, I'm like, dude, how about you just shut the fuck up? And he's like, "You got a problem or whatever?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "How about we go outside?" I'm like, "All right, dude, let's fucking do it, bud." So we went outside and threw down over me ordering a burrito without chicken and cheese, dude. Yeah, can't make this stuff up, man. No, that was the only like bad experience I've had in person.
This is so weird, right? It's like somebody is having a personal problem over something that you, not even something that you want to eat, something about that you don't want to eat. So how do people take these things seriously? It's not like I'm putting stuff in your mouth, it's going in my mouth.
Yeah, I don't know. It was super weird. It was like 3 in the afternoon. I think he was pretty plastered as well, so that didn't help. But I don't know. People.
So what was the outcome of that fight then?
I mean, I whooped the guy. He was pretty hammered, so I'm not gonna like act like I'm proud of it or anything. But it is what it is. I went back in and had my burrito. It was all right.
I was only hoping that the guy who had a problem was not the waiter or the owner of the restaurant. It was just some random guy who had no reason to be like that.
Some random guy just sitting at the bar, drunk. I don't know. His wife probably left him or something. Who knows? I'm like trained in like some martial arts as well. Like I do submission grappling quite often. So like I know how to handle myself. Like
Yeah, like I mean, after that, I expect that burrito to taste pretty fucking good.
Yeah. No. It's just, some people get real weird about it, real defensive. I just started a new job, and I tried, I know this is going to sound weird, especially like as a vegan activist, but like at my work, I try not to let people know I'm vegan. If it comes up, I'll like talk about it, but I don't go out of my way to bring it up just because like people get so weird about it, man. Like they just like start looking at you different. And I didn't want to be the new guy who everyone like already like hated because like he's vegan or whatever. So people didn't find out for a while until like recently they started finding out, but I've been there long enough where they all have respect for me and it didn't make too big of a deal. But it's just real weird how like people like perceive you different once they find out you're vegan. Like I've had people like be like literally not believe me when I tell them like I'm vegan, and they find out they're like, "Dude, you're not vegan," like blah blah. I'm like, "Yeah, I am."
Yeah, I think we share, like, I'm not sure about how Gaurav deals with this, but at least I do the same thing. Like, I don't, like, people know I'm vegan, but I don't go out of my way to tell people unless they are trying to give me something to eat or something like that. And only in that situation, I'm like, no, I don't, I don't eat this stuff. I'm actually vegan. And then, like, oh, really? And then they try to start a conversation. And if they're not in my it depends. Like if there's someone I have to deal with on a daily basis, I don't actually like explain very much in detail. But if they are like not somebody that I'm going to be dealing with on a regular basis, or someone who like is not in a position to jeopardize my situation or something like that, then like I actually try to open up a conversation about it and try to get at least some sense into them. But that kind of people, those kind of people are actually pretty rare in the field that I am, because in like since I'm doing my PhD in biology, like I have to collaborate with like a lot of people, and like as my circle keeps increasing, my scope of actually doing activism with those people kind of diminishes, which is why I focus most of my activism attempts either offline or online. So which is why I kind of I defer responsibility when it comes to like these people.
Yep, I do the exact same thing. People even like you said, like people will be like, oh, why are you vegan, all this stuff. I'm like, oh, I'll just say something real quick and real vague about it because you know how it is. Like, you don't want people at work, like your supervisors and whatnot, to look at you differently because it's just like you said, people that you have to deal with every day of your life. You don't want to have to go through that. So I handle that the same exact way. Like when I'm out and about not doing vegan activism, I just don't really bring it up. Now when I'm doing vegan activism, hell yeah, it's I'm shouting through my lungs about it. But I kind of keep it separated, which is funny because there's the meme of like, oh, how do you know somebody's vegan? They'll tell you. It's usually my friends bringing it up to people.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, can you believe this guy's vegan? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's always my friends bringing it up. It's never me. So I always think that's kind of funny.
Yeah, I do the same. I don't talk
Yeah.
about it at workplace. It came up and then they knew about it and then they are like, oh, so you're vegan. So it's like, yeah, now they understand. But initially I try not to talk about it, at least not in the right context.
So in the social media climate that we are right now, if anyone uses social media to any significant degree, I'm pretty sure they've heard of the word vegan at least, and they have some basic idea about what the word means. Like a few years ago when I turned vegan, the situation was like the word vegetarian and the word vegan, they kind of meant the same thing for people generally, and they thought that vegan was just like a shortened version of vegetarian, and if I'm just getting lazy to say vegan, so I'm just saying vegetarian.
Yeah, even I used to use it as a short form for vegetarianism. Like most people in India are like, a lot of people are like majority like vegetarian, and although those are for religious reasons, but it's like I used to use vegan as a short form for vegetarian. It's like, that's just a short form. I didn't know there was a different meaning ascribed to it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot that I have heard that. You said even most people in India are vegetarian?
Yeah, like even those
Yes.
who do have, like those do consume meat, it's like a very small percentage of the time. It's like once or twice a week or stuff like that, like, or a couple of meals in a week. So it's like it's prevalent that way. That vegetarianism is quite prevalent. But again, the same thing is that a lot of people are like very, very addicted to dairy, and
Yeah.
dairy has become a big part of the culture. Although it is still safe to say that, like, if you have the majority of Indian diet, like if you have a vegetarian dish or like a vegetarian thali, you might have heard about a thali. So it's like it's going to be 90 to 95% vegan only. There's just a few, a little bit of curd somewhere or some, let's say a sweet dish that could be non-vegan. Otherwise, most of it is vegan only.
Okay, yeah, because I've had conversations with people just kind of like, I don't know, hypothesizing which country will become vegan first, and a lot of people think India because like it's so vegetarian, but I've also heard like the people there are like very, very like stubborn about their like dairy. So I don't know if that necessarily like logically follows that just because most people in India are vegetarian, that they'll be the first majority vegan country. So
Yeah. So I also wanted to add that like India also has like this political problem. Like these days, eating animals is also like sort of a political thing. Like since the majority is kind of vegetarian, we need to oppose the majority kind of thing. So there are sentiments where they are like, oh, let's just kill this cow just because the political party in power is against the killing of cows for religious reasons. So let's just kill cows. They don't care about
wow.
yeah, like they don't care about the cow more.
Yeah, right. Gee, that's ridiculous. I've also heard, I could be wrong, I could sound really ignorant here. It's just, I've heard, tell me if I'm wrong, that there's like castes in India, and like something about the upper caste,
Yeah.
like don't eat meat, and some of the lower castes or whatever do eat meat. So it's seen as like, I don't know the right word,
A rebellion.
almost like classist to tell people not to eat meat for that reason.
Yep.
Am I right to say that?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like they take that as a form of discrimination. Like if you tell people not to
Yeah.
eat animals, they're like, oh, you're trying to discriminate against people. Well, maybe there are legitimate reasons because like there are some really religious people who actually don't care about animals. They just care about the purity aspect. But obviously there are also people who are religious and they do care about the animal aspect also, but because of this like kind of clash between these the upper caste and the lower caste, and even there are like political figures who motivate these oppressed communities to use meat eating as sort of a rebellion against the upper caste, which is kind of stupid. Like if you think of it in terms of like any human discrimination, like it's like saying, oh, I'm just making like an analogy, like if white people were enslaving black people, you just tell black people, why don't you just beat up your women more often, because these white people, they are against beating up women, so black people are beating up women more often than they were. So it doesn't make sense to me, but that's kind of what is happening over here.
Yeah. Oppress others in the name of oppression. Like, yeah, okay, huh? That makes sense.
Yeah.
Have you had any exposure to Indian meals, by chance? I mean, you live in rural USA, but surely there must be some Indian restaurants around you might have seen, or
I've had Indian food before. Yeah, absolutely.
so.
I'm there. There's a decent sized town about like a little over an hour away from me that they have some good vegan restaurants and stuff, and they have like Indian cuisine. So yeah, I've had it before.
Wow. Any notable dish that you want to tell us about?
A notable dish? Not that I can think of off the top of my head. No, like a notable like Indian dish that I've tried and liked.
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, I've always liked curry. Like obviously, like I know it's like pretty basic, but that's always been good. Besides that, nothing that like really comes to my head.
Okay, because most people when they talk about Indian food, it's like some chicken dish or something, or chicken masala or stuff like that. So we are hoping that there is some awareness in the world that a lot of Indian vegan food also exists, and it's great. So it's like I was just talking to Aputa before you came on. It's like the Japanese guy that we had on this channel. He's like, it's very much possible to be vegan in Japan, but from the discussion that we had and from the research that we did, it's like it's going to be difficult if you don't have a local native with you, who's vegan and who's going to tell you what to eat. But in India, I can assure you that it's like most of the things, like if you ask for like vegetarian and you tell them like some dairy aspects you don't eat, or if you can just have a list of vegan options, it's quite easy to be vegan in India, and especially because many people speak the language English, so it's easy.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, even where I'm at, I don't think by any means it's hard to be vegan. Like, I just order everything I normally would, just like minus dairy and minus cheese, or minus meat and minus dairy. Sometimes I'll even bring my own like mock meat products and stuff to like restaurants and just like put it in there myself. So I don't have a hard time.
Yeah. Well, talking about like eating food and stuff, so I want to segue from like food to nutrition and like so how does your daily meal looks like on an average day, since you're into like powerlifting, BJJ, etc. You have like more nutritional requirements than maybe like the average lanky vegan who is just sitting on their ass every day. So how does that look like?
Yeah, I focus pretty heavily on my protein. I used to track it, but I've gotten to the point where I don't track it anymore just because I know roughly what I need to eat. I buy this like this cereal. It's really good. It's like this high protein cereal. It's like 20 grams of protein per like, I don't know, cup and a half or something like that. I drink a lot of soy milk. This is gonna sound bad after being vegan for freaking 6 years, but I just learned how to cook tofu good this year, so that's been a game changer. I eat a lot of tofu now. I used to eat a lot of tofu, but I wouldn't make it myself because it always tasted like crap when I made it. But now I realize you have to press it. I cook it in like cornstarch, paprika, and then like fry it in some oil, and then just put some like sauce on it. So that's been awesome. I eat lentils. I like lentils. People give me crap for this, but I'll just eat cans of beans. Like there's these like Dr. Pepper flavored beans that I buy from the store. I love them, man. They're awesome. I eat a lot of mock meats for sure. A lot of mock meats. I don't know if you've ever had Just Egg before. I've been on a Just Egg kick.
Oh,
lately.
I
Been eating a
want
lot
to.
of
Like
that.
I've seen the commercials and I've seen people try it on YouTube, but it's just like yeah, we just don't have it in India. I hope
Okay,
they show
okay.
up soon. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's super good. I used to do the whole tofu scramble, which that's good too. I like tofu scramble. I found this actually at my local Meijer. Surprisingly, it was like a seasoning mix. It was just specifically for tofu scramble. So all I had to do was like dump that in, and that was pretty good. Trying to think of what else I mean, protein. Obviously, I take like protein powder and creatine every day. I supplement with that. And yeah.
Have you experimented with seitan? That's something I want to do these days, but haven't found the time to.
I do eat seitan, yeah. I haven't like the same with tofu. I don't really know how to cook it yet. So I probably should look into that. But I've had it before, yeah.
I just had
not
it
like
once.
not for taste reasons, but just because it's high in protein.
Yeah, I just had it once at a vegan potluck, and I didn't like it very much. But perhaps it all depends on how you prepare it. So
Are you talking about seitan?
I don't know. Yeah, seitan.
Oh, I have never had it.
Yeah, I just had it at a potluck. It was like it's too chewy. I would say like once that so both of us we've never had meat before. So we were vegetarians before. So
Oh wow.
yeah, so when we have mock meat, it's a little bit different because the main thing that people vegans or non-vegans when they try mock meat, it's like they want to emulate that texture of meat. But to us, that texture means nothing. So it's like if the taste is nice, only then we'll care. Otherwise, I don't care about the texture. And seitan I found was too chewy. It's like I like tofu, but seitan is too chewy. I don't know why.
And also, like,
it is.
I cry every time someone mentions tofu because I also like so my institute is situated at like a rural place. Like it's way more rural than the average rural place. So there, like, even if you order on Amazon, it gets like it takes you like a week to reach, and it's way more expensive for the same amount of tofu if you buy it from like a store or something like that. So it's just like tofu is just unimaginable to me because even on Amazon it's out of stock most of the time. So I just don't get to eat tofu. Like
Oh no, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to bring it up, man. No.
Don't worry, I bring it up every chance I get. So
So Gaurav just tries to poke me every day by just telling me, "Oh, I ate tofu today," and
I'm going to buy some tomorrow. Don't worry, I'll show it to you.
No. You're doing your boy dirty, man. Oh man, that sucks, man. Yeah, I'm a big tofu guy now. So
yeah.
Oh, also, I also don't know how to cook it properly. So if you can, tell us some, tips and tricks, that would be great.
yeah, I literally just I got a tofu press now. I just press the tofu to get the water out, and just cut it up into little squares or whatever. Then I'll get like a bag or a Tupperware of some sort and put the tofu in there, and then I'll put some cornstarch and a little bit of paprika, and then I'll just shake it up, get it all coated, and then I'll just cook it in oil until it's crispy. Then once it's crispy, I drain the oil and just cook the sauce in with it, and it's pretty good that way, man. It's really good.
Abuta is salivating already.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
So finally,
He already knew how to cook tofu. He just wanted to ask me to hurt you for that.
maybe I
I
did,
know
maybe
that.
I did not. So finally, I just wanted to ask you, like, how has been your experience with the the powerlifting thing? Like you told you and your more important question. Aput, I'll be the one to ask this. Okay. What kind of what kind of good deeds have you done in your past life that you got to have a vegan wife? We need to know.
She actually wasn't vegan when I met her, because like I said, like there's literally nobody that in my area that's vegan, like literally nobody. So she wasn't vegan when I met her, but seriously, within I think a month of me meeting her, she went vegan, because she's the same way. She's from where I am, like very rural place. She didn't even know what veganism was. She had no idea. And then I'd catch her like watching Earthling Ed and stuff, and she's like, "Yeah, this is like terrible what we're doing to animals," and she went vegan. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's some great karma he has, earned in his past life.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need some of that.
Hopefully the internet makes that stuff kind of easier. But yeah, that's definitely the good news is though that I feel like women are like the majority of vegans, so like that does at least help you out a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We hear that all the time, but it's hard to get that in practice.
I think that's a conspiracy theory. I don't believe it.
Also, the thing that I was asking is like how has the powerlifting thing been like? So like were you a powerlifter before, or then like what changes in your diet did you do, or like has it improved your performance? Because that documentary, The Game Changers, I usually hate watching the graphic footage. It's like I'm a vegan now, I can't bear to watch any of that. But I did watch The Game Changers, and there's a lot of good stuff that they were saying that going vegan actually improves your athletic performance. So how has that been like for you? And then even your wife, she's into powerlifting, I believe. So how has that been like?
Also, like I've seen before and after pictures of Hunter, and I'm like, dude, that's you. And that was literally the message I sent him after he put up that tweet. I'm like, that's you. And like I've just seen this like amazing transformation from like Hunter and vegan Hunter.
To gatherer Hunter, yeah. No, so yeah, before I went vegan, I didn't powerlift. I actually started powerlifting because I was tired of people talking about vegans being weak. Like I literally started powerlifting in grudge of like hearing that all the time, because I knew it wasn't true, because I was already pretty strong. I've always been like somewhat athletic, so I was like, screw this. Like I'm just gonna powerlift just to prove people wrong, and that's why I got into it. And yeah, I gained a lot of size. I got a lot bigger. I got a lot stronger. So when people say like, oh, you built all your muscle on eating meat first and then went vegan, like no, that's not what happened. I was like you said, Apuda seen me before I was vegan. I was a lot smaller. Like I've gained a lot of size on a vegan diet. So yeah, as far as like the way I feel and whatnot, I'm not like a Paul Saladino quack. I'm not gonna pretend like I got superpowers or anything. I pretty much feel the same in every aspect. The only benefit that I have noticed that's like better is like after eating a meal, I feel much less groggy and I feel a lot better. I was in an academy. I'm a corrections officer, so I was in a corrections academy like years ago, and we would eat, and what we would do, they would be like, eat until you're full, eat until you're full. So everyone would want to eat until they're full. And then immediately after, just to basically be dicks, they would have us go on like a long run, and everybody else would be puking, saying how horrible it was. I was just fine. I felt just fine because my stomach still felt light. I didn't feel groggy. So that's for sure one big benefit.
That's true. I also saw that I get a lot less pimples now that I stopped dairy. So I used to have a lot of that cottage cheese, which we call paneer here, and that really screwed up my skin. And then I also used to feel a lot bloated, and a lot of gas was there, but that has really improved.
Yep, I forgot to bring that up. I didn't have as big of a change with that, but my wife, she actually had pretty bad acne. Like she was really conscious about it. And then when she went vegan, dude, she basically has like nothing, like no acne anymore. So like, yeah, that wasn't for me, but for her, that was huge. Yeah.
Damn. So how do your lifts look? So I read on Twitter that you're now not focusing as much on powerlifting and you're focusing more on martial arts. So
Yeah, yep.
What do you think was the graph like? How were your lifts and what I think you've also mentioned you're holding some state records for powerlifting.
Yeah. At my best, I had a 600-pound squat, a 600-pound deadlift, and a 350-pound bench. And yeah, I used to compete. I used to compete in powerlifting, which is actually really nice too, because then when people accuse me of like being on steroids and stuff, I can be like, look, you can look me up. I literally competed in drug tested powerlifting, like I was drug tested. So that's actually a really nice like bonus of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was I think I was 23. Yeah, because they got like age divisions or whatever, and it's like 20 to 23, I believe. I set a state squat record, so yeah, that was pretty cool.
So that was that was 600 pounds or the squat record.
No, that the most I've ever squatted was 600. That was probably a year or so ago. At the time, I think I think it was like 525, and I was a lot lighter as well though. I think I was like, man, I could be wrong, but I was around 190 pounds at the time, I think. So, yeah.
So now
Amazing.
your focus has shifted to like BJJ and other kinds of. So what inspired you to shift from like powerlifting to that?
So yeah, so I originally got into powerlifting because I wanted to prove like people wrong or whatever. But I never like truly like loved it. I was really, like I said, just doing it out of like grudge to prove people wrong. And then I don't know. I just always truly I just like BJJ more. I guess I just have more fun with it.
Right.
So like I wanted to. I feel I've already done pretty well in powerlifting. I've like proved my point. So like now I'm just gonna do what I enjoy more, and that's jiu-jitsu. I just have a lot more fun with it. So, and unfortunately, when you are doing like it's a lot of cardio. Like I train 3 times a week. You know, like I'm like live grappling with people 3 times a week. So it's a lot of energy. It's a lot of cardio. And unfortunately, when you're doing a lot of cardio, your lifts go down. So I'm not as strong as what I was, but I'm a lot more effective grappler. So I'll take it.
That will come in handy in the next fight you have. Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully it should not happen.
You'll be way more equipped this time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready for the next redneck to call me out at my local dive bar. That's for sure.
One last thing I want to talk about. Like, in that activism video that I saw of you, it's like even your video, or when we see videos of DXE and all the big time activists, it's like so powerful stuff that they do. So even you like going to a store and then storming the store, going inside the store, and then shouting vegan slogans. So that is unheard of, at least in the activism scene in India. So it's like I wonder, like I want to ask you, like does it not enrage some of the owners, or do they not take steps to stop us, or is it like any kind of police that have intervened and they have tried to stop vegans, or does that happen?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, those people are hardcore, man. I have nothing but respect for those people. Yeah, I mean, it's police absolutely will try to like stop you. Like for instance, like when we're in front of stores, like protesting or whatnot, there's nothing they can do because of freedom of speech, but they will try to do things to get you to stop. Basically, like they'll basically start off at lying, saying you got to move, and then once you kind of call them out and like, no, I have the freedom of speech to be here, they'll be like, yeah, whatever, and they'll just kind of sit there and watch, basically. So it's like we have the like right to do that. So like it's not like a big deal. It's nothing they can like force you to leave or anything like that. I've had instances. My most recent activism I did over on the other side of the state, and we were I can't remember exactly what it was. It's some kind of like I don't know. There's just a bunch of vendors. I don't know what was going on or whatever it was called, but we were on the corner of the sidewalk where we knew we could be because we actually talked to the police beforehand. They're like, yeah, you guys can do this, and so we're holding like TV screens showing everybody Dominion and having conversations with people, and the security of the event, whatever was going on, came over and told us like we had to leave. They're like, you guys have to leave. We're like, no, we don't. We talked to police, and they kept telling us, they're like, all right, we're gonna call the police and get you guys out of here. We're like, okay, go call the police then. And once we called their bluff, they're like, okay, like, yeah, you guys can stay here, just, you know what I mean? So people will try to get you to like stop doing what you're doing, but at the end of the day, they can't.
That's kind of a problem here because the free speech laws over here aren't that strong, so the owners can actually like push you out, and yeah, like,
No, it's like we do have the right, but it's like still police can try and stop you. It's like the enforcement is not that great. So it's like some owners may call goons, to get you, get you out and stuff like that. So it's a lot more risky, but I have had good success. Like we have had good success talking to people in more affluent areas, like where people wouldn't let's say behave like that guy, that drunk guy that you encountered. So it's like people will have a more civil conversation, like in big malls or in like in luxury areas or stuff like that. So that has been our best activism experiences, but otherwise it's very risky to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like I should be more clear when I say like we're allowed to do that. Like that's when we're like outside of the store. Like when we do the stuff like you saw, like storming the store. Like we're not, we're not supposed to be doing that stuff. We just just go in there, do our thing, and get back out. Basically, those people are hardcore, man. I have nothing but respect for them. The kind of activism I prefer is like kind of what you were talking about. Just having conversations with people. Less aggressive. That's the kind of activism I prefer. But people who do that stuff, man. And I'll tell you what, that store we were protesting at we were protesting for because they sold fur. We were trying to get them to sell or stop selling fur. It worked. They stopped selling fur like I don't know, like a month or less later. So those pressure campaigns that those people do really do work. They've gotten plenty of like big names to stop selling fur and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool to see that.
It always makes us happy to see all those dairy farms getting shut down. Even I read somewhere that a lot of stores in US or UK, it was somewhere, I think Germany even, I heard that, Germany, I know a girl from Germany who said that most of the cafes just offer oat milk by default because that's the, majority of people's choice. So if you want like cow's milk, you have to ask for it separately. So these kinds of stories are always, good to hear.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to ask one more thing, like you used to do hunting and stuff like that, fishing. Like I've seen your magnet fishing video. So do you still do things like that, like plinking or magnet fishing or things like that? So which kind of like simulate that experience, but is not like it's devoid of the suffering.
What is magnet fishing?
So magnet fishing is basically you just get like a big, like a strong magnet, like tie it to like a string, and just throw it in rivers or lakes or whatever, and see what you can find, see what you can pull out. Like people lose metal stuff in the water all the time, so that's I do that sometimes. I like being outside. I'm an outdoorsman, so I'll go camping. I'll just go through walks through the woods. I love just going on the water, swimming. I do outdoor stuff all the time. The only like you said, like the cruelty free version would be like magnet fishing, which it's fun to do.
So do you?
I think it's finally time that we should try fishing using magnet fishing.
Yeah, and I think magnet fishing could actually lead to finding more interesting stuff. Like you go to a river and maybe you find like someone's some kind of like metal jewelry or something like that. And
exactly.
Yeah.
And in that process, you can clean up that lake or pond, whatever. That could also be good.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, you never know what you're gonna find. I know people who have lost wedding rings in the water before and stuff, so you never know.
Right.
That's great. So, it has been a wonderful experience talking to you, and getting your perspective on the past that you had and the ideas that you have for the future. So, would you like to say, like, what would be your ending words? Like, do you have a pessimistic view for the future, or do you have an optimistic view, or what do you think can be the best things that we can do to get the word across and get the vegan message across?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I have a pretty pessimistic view. I have a pretty bad view of humans. I think probably lab grown meat is gonna be coming cheaper than like actual meat is probably in the end what's gonna make for a vegan world. But like, yeah, in the meantime, I think we should absolutely be doing as much as we can to turn as much people vegan as possible and lower the amount of rights violations going on in this world. And I'm absolutely gonna do that till the day I die, because absolutely can make a difference. And if you alone, like throughout your lifetime, even turn like 5 people vegan, and those 5 people turn a few people vegan, like you absolutely can make a difference. Like, on your own, no, you're not gonna end animal agriculture, but you can make a difference. So
That's amazing. Thank you for a
So-
very, very inspiring conversation.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, Hunter. I'm still in awe of you having a past and coming out of it. Like I'm still trying to process it, and I'm not sure. Maybe even you're in some way still trying to process the past that you've had. So thank you very much for sharing that story with us. And like this is going to be something. It's sort of like a badge on your shirt. Like after you've we have people in the community who have done this in the past and they have still gone vegan, and that's the kind of that's the kind of stories we need to bring to popularity, and that's what we want to do. So thank you very much for sharing that story. Well, I guess that's pretty much it for this episode. Maybe in the next episode we'll bring you many more interesting stories from different corners of the world. So until then, we'll see you on the same veranda. Don't go anywhere. Stay safe. Stay vegan. Bye bye.
I appreciate it, guys. Did he freeze up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something happened. Just wait for a while. It'll come back.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I was just making sure it wasn't on my end. I was like, man, I just got new internet 2 days ago too. I hope it's not me freezing already. Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on too. It's cool to talk to other vegans and whatnot. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.